Right. All right. So welcome to our weekly team call, upLIFT Tribe. If you are new, this is a weekly call that we do. We were doing it on Thursday mornings, but we decided to switch starting last week to Monday nights. Really the purpose of these calls is these are core things that we're going to be talking about, right? Perfect for someone who's a brand new coach, but even for seasoned coaches, even for myself, this stuff is always a good reminder, right? Like, I don't care if you've been coaching for 5 years and you're number one in the business, like these foundational things are really core to coaching. And so really that's kind of what we hit on with these calls. Tonight, we are talking about building a strong foundation in your business. And so I want to start off by showing you guys this picture here of this really beautiful home. So this is not really my dream home, but because I'm kind of a weirdo and my dream home is like the Joanna Gaines farmhouse. But you know, maybe a lot of people would say this is their dream home, right? It's big. I don't know. I don't know if this is everyone's dream home, but I typed in dream home and this is what popped up. So that's what we're going with. So it's big, right? It's got 3 different levels. It's got a pool. It's beautiful, right? Gorgeous. This is what a lot of us want in our business, right? We want this big, awesome business. We want to have all of these things. We want to have all the shiny stuff. You see all the shiny stuff like the chandeliers and all the shiny stuff. But you can't have this home. This home would be nothing. In fact, it would probably blow over with the wind if it did not have a steady and firm foundation. And it sounds silly, but it's so true. Obviously, our foundation is ultimately found in Christ, and that's where I want you guys building your foundation. But when we talk about this business, you've got to have that same mindset. Your foundation in this business are the 4 vital behaviors. They're the things that no matter if you've been a coach for a month, a week, a day, or 10 years, if you are not doing the 4 vital behaviors every single day, except for Sundays, because that's the day we want to unplug, you're not going to see growth in your business. And honestly, there's no point even doing anything else because those are the things that are going to move your business forward. Guys, I did this wrong for a really long time. And this is why it took me a bit to get my business going. I was so caught up in the shiny things. I compared myself to bloggers. I compared myself to, I don't know, all these people, but guess what? They weren't building a business on Instagram and Facebook. They were just having fun and hoping to make a few dollars or get some free clothes. Very big difference there, right? And so I was so focused on building the house before I had the foundation that the coaches I was attracting, the challengers I was attracting, all the things that I was doing, nothing was becoming of it because I was so focused on the shiny stuff. I thought that my Instagram needed to have perfect pictures. I know some of you guys think that my Instagram still has perfect pictures, but I promise you that I've just got, times have changed a little bit, but I bulk take a lot of those photos, so we can dive into that another time, another topic. But I used to have all professional photos on my Instagram. Like a couple years ago, I didn't post one photo that wasn't a professional photo. I paid a photographer to take photos of me. Now my little sister does it. Okay, let's be real. She's 16 and she's free. So that's all you need. Somebody who can take an iPhone or a camera and hopefully take some decent photos. But back 3 years ago, I was paying a photographer to take photos of me. I was going out with my blogger friends. I wanted this perfectly put together Instagram because guess what? That's who I was hanging with. I was hanging with bloggers. I was hearing what they were doing. I was going to all these blogger events, but my business was not growing. It wasn't growing. And not that being a blogger or doing those things is bad, but if you put your eyes so much on that and take it off of building that foundation and building relationships with people, you will not see growth. And that's why there are coaches who are in the top 10 who only have 1,000 followers on Instagram. The shiny stuff truly does not matter. It's what you do with those people and those relationships that matter. So tonight we're going to talk about building that firm foundation for a business that is going to grow, hopefully wider even than higher, but both ways, right? because that's what you want. You want depth in your business. You don't just want it to go up. You want depth, right? You want a firm foundation. There's people who will do just about anything. They'll sign up their grandma and their cousin and their fifth cousin and anything to try to get to diamonds. But if they get there and then a week later they drop, then what's the point? They didn't build the foundation, right? They didn't really get those core people. And so you really got to change your mindset with that. So let's dive into things tonight. We're going to talk about the 4 vital behaviors, which are the foundation to building a successful business as a Beachbody coach, okay? So number 1, personal development. This is the 4 vital behavior that every single coach seems to think they don't have to do. They think, I already know everything, or I'm just like so busy, I don't have time for that. If anything has to go, it's that. That's the one that has to go. That's what they seem to think. But here's what I found. Again, when my business wasn't growing, I wasn't doing personal development. I wasn't making it priority every day to either listen to a podcast, watch a training. It doesn't have to be long. I'm talking 10 minutes, guys. We all have 10 minutes. Even if it's driving across town to go meet a friend for coffee, like listen to something, do something, take your child on a walk and listen to a podcast. Like you guys probably see my Insta stories. I do that almost every day. That's how I knock it out because, we're all busy. So I fit it in between things. I use those power pockets. I posted about that for my crew today. I got it from Patrice, but those power pockets in my day. So make sure that personal development is a priority for you. I will say this. A friend told me this, and I completely agree with her. And so I want to make sure you guys know this here. Spending time with Jesus and personal development are 2 totally different things, right? Because spending time with Jesus is for your growth and your walk with Jesus, not for you to go share with the world, right? Like I don't study God's word because I'm like, need something to post on Instagram today. If your brain is going there, you need to check yourself. You need to check your heart. Because that's not the purpose of why we spend time with him, right? It's just go share it. Like it's for our personal growth. If you're not applying it, then what's it mean, So it's different. You should be spending time with Jesus. Obviously, I don't want you guys doing anything else in this business unless you're doing that. But personal development should really be separate. It's growing as a leader. It's growing in what knowledge-wise about fitness or sorry, I get distracted. Text messages are popping up on my computer. Growing as a leader. It's growing in what you know about food or nutrition. Honestly, the 2B mindset, the videos are personal development. If those are things that you don't know much about and that's an area you need to learn in. I always tell my new coaches, look at kind of your, like what going into this. Do you feel like you could really grow in how to encourage people? Do you feel like you could really grow in understanding people's leadership styles and their skills and all those things? Especially for me, that's been a big focus for me this year. As I said to myself at the beginning of the year, this year I want to grow. I want to be a better leader. That was a really big thing for me because as my team grows, I have to grow, right, as a leader. And so I started the year, first book I read was John Maxwell. I think it's called 11 something of growth. It's all about growing as a leader. And I started my year with that. And every month I've been trying to read different books that are going to help me grow as a leader. So look at yourself, like look at areas that you think, hey, this is an area of opportunity for me. And this is an area where I could probably really spend some time. One of my favorite podcasts is Gold Digger Podcast. It's by a girl named Jenna Kutcher. I love listening to that podcast because she mixes it up about a lot of different things. Today was about motherhood and being an entrepreneur. And how to balance those 2 things. And so find that podcast, find that person. You may not like Jenna Kutcher, you might not like her style, but find that person that you really love to learn from and soak it in. Let them pour into you. It doesn't have to always be, it can be a Beachbody person, but it doesn't have to be, right? Like do other things, read other things, learn from other people. I told you guys about bloggers earlier. There's nothing wrong with the blogger way of doing things. You can learn so much from them. Just don't try to be like them, right? Like they're not building a business. They're just wanting to kind of get free things and give reviews and things like that. And so they're going to always be more popular because they're not building a business. Do you see what I'm saying here? So learn from them though. Like so much of what I do on Fit for His Glory is things that I see other people doing. Like you know, the way they take their photos, the way their photos are edited, or their Insta stories or whatever. There's a girl I love. Her name's Tabitha. She's not a blogger or anything. She just honestly posts about Jesus a lot. And she's a mom and she's super sweet. And she does the best Instagram stories ever, guys. Like, they're so awesome. And I'm like, you must spend 5 minutes or 10 on one little post on Instagram stories. But they always look so cute and put together, and it catches my eye every time. Go find those people and learn from them. That's how you'll push outside of the Beachbody bubble. So first one, personal development. Whatever you want to call it. Personal development, professional development. You guys got it. Second one, the one that everyone absolutely hates, inviting. Well, actually, let's do the other one first, and then we'll do inviting. So second one, being a product of the product. So it is super important that you as a Beachbody coach are first and foremost being a product of the product. You can't go talk about something that you're not using yourself. And that's the biggest reason people ask me, well, why do I have to do 50 PV every month? Why do I have to be an active coach? The reason being is that Beachbody doesn't want you going around saying, hey, join my challenge group. But guess what? I don't work out and I don't drink Shakeology. Like, what? Talk about a hypocrite. That's why they make it that rule that you have to be active every month. Or not a rule, but like, that's why they make you purchase in order to be active. That's why in order to get customer leads or a lot of the other things, you have to be buying something, right? Like hitting Success Club. There's like the Success Club. If you're hitting Success Club every month, you get leads from Beachbody for hitting Success Club as well. So those sorts of things. The reason that they make you do that is because they want to make sure you're a product of the product, right? They don't want you just going around talking about something that you're not actually using and living out. It's kind of like if I'm leading a Bible study, and I'm sorry guys, I do use examples of my walk with Jesus all the time with business stuff, because I think it really, there's just so many things. But it's like if I'm leading a Bible study and I invite all these women over and we're doing a Bible study and we're supposed to have done our homework for the week, right? Like the book, and everyone gets theirs out and they've all done it. And I'm like, oh, well, it's fine. Like, I didn't do it, but who cares? Like, I'll lead you guys. That would be so weird. Like, I would feel horrible. Like, talk about a hypocrite, you know, like I told them to all do it, but I'm not doing it myself. Same thing for being a product of the product. That's why I always tell people that being a coach is the ultimate accountability, because if you see all of your challengers checking in with their workouts, you see all these people commenting on your post from where you worked out the day before and how inspiring you are, you're going to want to go work out tomorrow. You're going to want to eat healthier. Guess what? I'm leading Eat for His Glory community. If I'm not eating for His glory and I'm over here eating donuts, I'm going to feel really bad, you know? So you've got to make being a product of product at the forefront. You will want to share more when you're actually living it out. I think the first step of a coach who's probably going to give up is the person who quits doing it themselves. It's the person who quits investing in their own journey. It's the person who quits showing up for their own journey. It's the person that quits getting their sweat in. The second I start to see that happen with somebody, I know something's going to go wrong or they're going to give up probably. Just because if you're not showing up, you'll start to feel that guilt, and all these things are going to start snowballing for you. So don't let yourself fall off the bandwagon, because you'll be disappointed in yourself and it'll be a whole lot harder to come back. Be a product of the product. The third one is inviting. So I actually talked about this on the call we were just on. Inviting has gotten a really bad rap. People seem to think that word is ooey and gooey and scary, and guess what? It's not. And I want you guys to really change your thinking on this one. So Patrice actually did an awesome call for us a few months back. She did it at our team retreat, and basically she talked about recruitment. So Patrice, I'm sorry, I'm kind of stealing your whole thunder here, but I've got to share this. So Patrice was a college athlete. She played basketball. That's why she's super competitive. And I'm just kidding. But she played college basketball. And so for her, the word recruitment is like, no big deal, right? Like, that's an awesome word, in fact, because when she was in high school, when she received recruitment letters from universities, it was like, oh my goodness, I'm being recruited. Like, this is a really big deal. Think about it when you get invited to something. I never get a wedding invitation in the mail, and maybe you guys do. I don't know. Unless it's maybe if it was someone you really didn't like, I don't know, or you didn't want to buy a gift. I'm not sure. But I've never gotten an invitation in the mail to a wedding or birthday party and thought, man, I really wish that person didn't invite me. Like, I mean, I'm excited. It's like, yeah, free food, like go have fun, date night. You know what I mean? Like on someone else's tab. It's awesome. I'm excited because I got invited. Okay. A couple weeks ago, this girl that I'm friends with in my Bible study, this is probably terrible, but I didn't get invited to her graduation party and everyone else did. And it really hurt my feelings. So that's what it feels like when you don't get invited. Okay. So obviously being invited is awesome. So here's the deal. We got to change our thinking. We got to start looking at inviting people to be a part of our challenge groups, be a part of our coach, our teams as a good thing. I cannot tell you guys how many times I've had a conversation with a potential coach, a challenger in my challenge group, and maybe they joined a challenge group and they had 30 pounds to lose. And, you know, they were just the most inspiring person in the group. They were constantly showing up. They were constantly posting. Or maybe they didn't have 30 pounds to lose. Maybe they were already in shape, but they were just super inspiring. And I thought to myself, that person would make an amazing coach. And I love her and I love her heart and I would love to have her on my team. I reach out to them and I say to them, hey, this is really random, whatever. God's placed you on my heart. I'm just wondering if this is something you'd be interested in. You're so inspiring. You make me want to go work out. And like, I'm a coach and I post it all the time. So the fact that you make me want to go work out means you're really inspiring. And they say back to me, really? You think I'm inspiring? Like, I mean, I've thought about coaching, but I just didn't know if I'd be good at it. I didn't know if I, have what it takes. I didn't know if I've still got 30 pounds to lose. I'm not in perfect shape. I don't have my whole life figured out. That has happened to me so many times. Honestly, most of the coaches that I talk to think that they're not worthy to do this. And it's because we have this idea in our head of what it's supposed to look like. And 99% of the time it's wrong. And most of the time, Satan tries to attack us. He tries to attack us with fear. And we just believe these lies that we're not good enough to do that. And so when you go to someone and you say, hey, you would be really awesome at this, and you say that invite, it actually builds them up and it really encourages them. And even if they say, hey, right now is not the perfect time for me and my family, or, I've got a lot on my plate, but I'll keep it in mind for the future. Like, it still built them up and it still made them feel good that you thought of them for your team. And so I want you guys to take time, not right now, but after this call, and make a list of who are those people in your life that you're like, make a list of, hey, these people are challengers. These people are potential coaches. Your challengers, make them people that they need this, right? There's people in your life who you're scared to talk to about it, because let's be real, talking to someone about their health can be a little bit awkward sometimes, like to say, hey, you should join my challenge group. We get scared of that because we don't want them to think that we think they need it, if that makes sense. But if they're on our hearts, let's just take that extra step. And guys, doing it from a genuine place. Like, this is how I approach people. So if I feel like they're constantly on my heart, I've been praying, I've been asking God, would you just reveal these people that I should be reaching out to me? I ask him that every single day. Say, give me names, give me faces, put them on my heart. I go to them and I say, hey, Kat, for whatever reason, God just keeps placing you on my heart. And I don't know what it's for. Maybe it's just to be praying for you. Maybe something's going on with you. But I keep thinking that you would make a perfect coach on my team. And I'd love to have a woman like you on my team. Have you ever thought about coaching? When you do it from a genuine place like that, guys, where it's like God has clearly placed her on your heart. And maybe it's not for that, but letting her know why you're reaching out, like, that's not going to make people think you're ooey and gooey and gross. And if it does, then they got a problem. And it's not using Jesus as like I'm just trying to, be arm's distance and try to make this a little softer. No, like, it came from a genuine place because you've truly been praying about it, right? And God truly placed her on your heart. So my whole point here is going to people and being authentic and being real and telling them, like, hey, I just really want awesome people like you. I knew personally, before I became a Beachbody coach, that I was on people's list, not for Beachbody, but for every other multi-level marketing company, because I constantly got messages on Instagram constantly got Facebook messages to come to people's parties, and I'd show up and find out that it was actually about selling XYZ. And I'm like, I thought I was just coming to like show some support for this girl, you know? So I'd find myself in these really awkward situations where I'm learning all about skincare, and I'm just like, I gotta go. Like, I drove all the way here for this. But here's the deal. If they would have come to me in a way of, hey, Caroline, this sounds crazy, but you're on my dream list. Like, having someone like you on my team would just be awesome. And here's why. Like, you love Jesus, you're this, you're that, whatever. I would have been more like, oh, am I? Oh, okay. Well, maybe I'm interested in that. But because they came to me from a sneaky place and a place of kind of like saying, hey, come to this party or come to this, and then it secretly was like about the business opportunity, it kind of made me be more like, ooh, I kind of just don't really want to work with you. I don't care about your product. I just really don't want to work with you because I felt like you kind of snuck me into this. And so if we just come to people from a genuine place, like, hey girl, I know this is super random, but I keep thinking about you. I've got this challenge group coming up. I didn't know if it was something you'd be interested in. Feel free to say no. There's absolutely no pressure. I just keep thinking about you, and I really feel like you would love this. Just from a genuine place, right? Don't overcomplicate it. That's what we do, is we overcomplicate everything. We think it has to sound professional and businessy and all these things. Don't overcomplicate it. That's inviting. Any questions about inviting? Well, actually, we can take questions at the end. That'll probably be easier. The last one, the fourth one, recognition. So this is huge, guys, huge. And I think we forget how huge this is. Not just recognizing your coaches. Yes, that's absolutely important, but also recognizing your challengers. If you're running a challenge group, even if it's not a group that you're specifically running, maybe you invited a friend to join with you or something along those lines, recognize them. Shout them out on their Instagram stories. Like, hey, I am so proud of, Josie for making this big step and joining this challenge group with me. Like, I'm having so much fun doing it with her, whatever. Invite her over to work out, take photos together, post it. Like, I'm so proud of her. Like, those things make people feel really, really good. And I don't know about you guys, but sometimes when someone gives me a shout out, like for instance, Michelle posted on my Facebook wall a couple weeks ago, and I got all these comments. It was so sweet and sweet. And I literally sent Michelle a voice message. I was like, I'm just going to bottle all these up and literally screenshot this so that the day that I feel like I'm in a hole and everybody like hates me, which by the way, I felt that way yesterday for some reason, which is dumb because it was Mother's Day. But yesterday morning, I don't know why I was in this funk about like, people just don't like me. And I'm like, why am I saying this? This is so silly. Like, nothing even happened. It was all just because a girl waved and didn't stop and say hi. And I was totally reading into something. So I was like, well, I had told Michelle, I was like, the days when I feel like people just think I'm crazy for doing Fit for Its Glory, I'm going to go back to those screenshots and I'm going to read them and from the Facebook comments and just make myself feel good, because I know that people love me. Why do I believe these lies? But so many times we're focused on the negative things when we forget about all the people and all the good things that are happening, right? And so recognition is huge because it's a chance for that person to feel like called out and recognized. They may join your challenge group and their husband and their mom and their kids may all be laughing at them when they do the workouts. And they may be making fun of them when they get salad instead of French fries. And they may be like just beating them up, and not even purposely, maybe in a passive way of just kind of picking fun at them. But that stuff hurts. It does, especially when you're trying to make a big, bold step, right? Like, my family messes around with me, and Brian's like, Caroline, you need to get thicker skin, because they'll be like, this is terrible, but they'll like be making something unhealthy, and they'll be like, fat for His glory, and I'm like, shut up, that's not funny. But they pick fun at me, and it used to really bother me at first because I felt like they were picking fun at like what I was doing. Maybe so they have somebody like that at their house, and you're not to the point where I am where they have had to choose to get thick skin. When you get that shout out, I know I'm being a dead horse here, but when you get that shout out, that goes such a long way with them. And they're automatically like, this girl's on my team, this girl's cheering for me. So in a world where women are constantly, honestly, just mean to each other, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but even in the Christian community, I mean, it's gossip and slander and pulling each other apart and talking about each other behind our backs. Like, let's be women who are different than that. Let's recognize each other for our accomplishments. Let's cheer each other on. Even if that means that I do a shout out to one of my coaches and all my followers go and follow them and join their challenge group, guess what? That's okay. Like, that's okay, because at the end of the day, they connected with that person better. And they, like, I planted a seed and God used that person to water it. And so let's be those kind of women, recognizing people, and that's super duper important. So to recap, the 4 vital behaviors, if you want to have a firm foundation in this business, is personal and professional development, making sure that you are constantly growing. That's going to help give you things to be sharing on your Instagram, on your Facebook, things to be sharing in your challenge groups, things to be encouraging other people. The second thing, being a product of the product, making sure that every single day you are getting your sweat session in, you're getting your Shakeology in, or your performance line, or whatever it is that you're committed to, making that happen so that you can then inspire other people. We can't do what we're not doing ourselves. The third one, inviting. Again, positive thing here, not a negative thing, not a scary thing. Building relationships with people, just putting yourself out there, stepping outside of your comfort zone and just seeing what could happen. Number 4, recognizing people, cheering each other on, even if that means that they go follow that person or whatever. Right now, most of you probably have challengers that you're cheering on, but recognizing them for those accomplishments, because it is such a big deal. It's a big deal. I even make it a big deal for someone to press follow on following me on Instagram. Like, I literally message them and thank them, because it's a big deal. They're allowing me into their lives, and that's what their challengers are doing. They're allowing you into their life to cheer them on, to push them to reach their goals. So these are the 4 things to a really vital business, and to a growing business, and to the foundation of your business. Now, I touched on this at the very beginning, but I just kind of want to touch on this really quickly before we wrap things up here tonight. Once you're doing those 4 things, once you've really dug deep into those 4 vital behaviors, you should also be really thinking about, as quickly as you possibly can, how you can strategize your way to becoming an Emeralds coach and hitting Success Club every month. I'm a very visual person. And so for me, what I do is I take my goals, and then on my dry erase board up in my office, I literally write coaches, and I put tally marks of how many coaches I really want, like my goal. So I set really big, scary goals. So for this month, I set a goal of 10 new coaches on my team. Not looking too good, because I've only got 1 so far, but it's only halfway through the month. So I put 10 tally marks there. And as that happens, as God brings those people, I mark it out, right? So I can kind of see visually where I'm at. Challenge groups or challenge packs, I put however much, if my goal, so my goal was Success Club 20. Well, guess what? It's 2 points per challenge pack. So I put 10 marks there. Obviously, you guys aren't starting at this place. This is me 4 years in, like pushing, right? But I put those tally marks because this really helps me personally visualize my goals and not just see them as numbers, but see them as people. And so what I started doing is, as I mark out that line, I put that person's name. And this just really helps me say, you know what, like Success Club is awesome, but it's really about changing lives. And so if your goal, let's say that your goal should be to hit Success Club 5 every month. So to hit Success Club 5, that means you've got to sell 3 challenge packs. There's actually a couple different combinations of how you get Success Club points. And it's posted in the upLIFT tribe. Just scroll down a little bit. There's a post all about it. You can go back and look at. But for simplicity purposes, let's call it 3 challenge packs. Each challenge pack has 2 points. So that's 3 lives that this month, 3 people that are going to get the challenge pack, okay? And then let's say that you have a goal of hitting Emerald. To hit Emerald, you need to have 1 coach on each leg, okay? So maybe on one leg, on your weak leg, hopefully maybe that's your husband or your spouse. And then on your strong leg, that's 1 person that you know who's decided that they want to become a coach. And I can dive into this on another occasion with you guys on our weekly calls if you're on here and you're one of my coaches, or if you're one of Patricia's coaches, or whoever your upline is. If you're like, what do those legs mean and what did you just say? Just write it down. That we'll talk about this week on our call, because it's very confusing to explain. So I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole right now. But here's the deal: that's 2 people, right? And so if you're visual like I am, put it up there like that. It helps you think of the person and the people and the lives that you're changing. And then on the bottom part, you can even write out lives that I changed, like that didn't have Success Club points attached to them, right? Like I've had tons of people join the Eat for His Glory community this month, and they just got the $99 basic package. Well, that doesn't have Success Club points. Like I don't get Success Club points for that, but that's still lives that are being changed, right? So write those names out. And when you see that as a visual every day in your office or wherever you are, or in your Power Pockets, maybe it's writing it on a piece of paper and just sticking it in your car dashboard. I don't know what that looks like for you. But visualizing those people and the lives that you want to change and the goals that you have really will help you hit those goals, instead of just thinking, oh, I've got to get to Success Club 5, and you're not breaking it down. Does that make sense? So that's really been a game changer for me. And the thing is that when we talk about building a firm foundation, it's the 4 vital behaviors, but then really that, like, the framing of your house, if that makes sense, is first and foremost hitting Success Club every month and being an Emerald coach. If you really want to see growth in your business, that's not going to happen. I mean, you're probably not even going to break even until you see those 2 things happening in your business. So if you're like, hey, I want to pay myself back for my challenge pack that I bought, I want to start seeing a little extra money trickle in this summer for me to go do some fun things with my kids, that's where it's going to start to happen. So if you're doing it for fun or the discount or whatever, that's a different story. But if you're like, hey, I really want to kind of start to frame up a business here, you've got to have those things. And that's why for the income surge that me and Patrice and some other coaches are doing, that's why those are requirements, because you can't build a firm business if you don't have those things foundationally there. So I hope this was helpful for you guys tonight. The 4 vital behaviors, Emerald and Success Club, visualizing your goals. I think we could definitely do another call sometime about creating a vision board. There's so many directions and ways we can take things. But I would love to take questions now if anybody has any. 4 vital behaviors. Hey, Erica. Anybody? All right, let me hear what your goal is for this month with just what are your goals in the business this month? Everybody want to hop on and just say real quick? I think we have a few people who are actually on, so. Or you can drop it in the chat box as well. I just would love to hear and kind of where you're at. We're halfway through the month. It's the 14th. I'll do mine first. That's a good goal. If you don't have a goal, it's okay. But get off this call and think of a goal. I'll tell you what your goal should be. Success Club 5, Emerald Coach. Make that your goal for the month. Woohoo! Patrice on fire. Especially with the coaches. I forgot to even mention that one. I'm at 1, so the whole second part of my month is going to be coaches. So love it. Ashley, where are you at right now? Have you hit Success Club? No. You got this. All right, ladies. Well, I hope this call was helpful for you guys. I'll post the recording in case there was anything you missed. But I hope you guys have an amazing week. Go, be lights, change the world, change lives. Woohoo! Bye, y'all.